Hi students, good morning. So today we will discuss the summary of the chapter and we are doing part 17 of this chapter. This is the last lecture of the chapter and after it we will start the new book, first chapter of your geography. So in this chapter what we discuss, this is about today's lecture is about that all. So, firstly, the chapter name is the French Revolution, and some of the main questions that which you have to, or the main topics, because from the from the beginning to the end, okay, there are so many various topics, and related to these topics, you have to learn the questions, okay. So you should have an idea about that all. So today's lecture is all about that, and okay, so listen carefully. What is that? So in the beginning, the chapter starts from an incident. Incident occur. This is an was the event that occurred in Paris, and it was on 14 July 1789. So from there, it is clear for us that the French Revolution, the year of the French Revolution was 1789. Okay. Now, what were the reasons behind that French Revolutions? So, question may be asked to you like that, and for that, I asked you to learn three type of questions. Maybe in exam, examiner can ask you about the political conditions behind the French revolutions, economic conditions behind the French revolutions, and social conditions. Very important. Okay, so social conditions behind the French revolutions. So you should know now the ideas. What is there? Okay, so what were the social conditions? What were the political conditions which were responsible for this revolution? What were the economic conditions related to money? Which were the problems? Okay, why that this revolution occurred? So that all you should know. So these three questions are very important, and then you should know the story of the chapter and related to that all, because the chapter beginning of the chapter is after that means it is a concerned story related to the a monarch, and his name is Louis 16. Yes. So who was Louis 16? What was the name of his wife? Okay. When was he ascended to the throne of the France? So these are some of the basic questions you should know at the time. What were the reasons behind the empty treasury? Okay, social conditions. I told you type of taxes, which were the taxes levied or charged during that time. Okay, what was did, what were tailed? Two type of taxes we discussed. Okay, what were the reasons behind the subsistence crisis? Okay, so I think in the beginning, first within one or two pages, we see that all these type of questions could be asked to you. Okay, then after that we discuss another topic that was about the end to the privileges. Okay, the growing middle class, and we see an end to the privileges, right? So in that we discuss about the role of the philosophers, their name of their philosophy, their books, okay, impact on the people's mind, and who were these, their names. So role of the philosophers, okay, in changing the society of middle class of France that time. So these are the questions that which you should learn, and after that we discuss the chapter means then we come to the outbreak of the revolutions. So in that we read the story about the how that Louis 16 started to, so it was obligations over the monarch that he had to increase the taxes. So for that reasons he has to call a meeting of his state generals. Yes, agree or not? And it was meeting was on date you should know. What is that? Yes, 5th May 1789. Right. So on that it happened, and after that we know that what were the criteria of voting that times, and reasons behind why did the members of National Assembly leave the court of Versailles, okay, and how they started to form a constitution for France. So, in order to increase of the protest, so he gave his consent. Monarch gave his consent uh, in front of the National Assembly, and we see that a constitutional monarchy was set up in France. Okay, but constitution takes time, so work for that started in 1789 and it goes. It was finished in 1791. Okay, so this is to that all, and we see the constitutional monarchy was set up, but it was not the end of all that goes that time in France, and secretly we see that after that republic, France become a republic. New topic comes. So in that we discuss that secretly monarch Louis XVI, what he started to do. Yes, so he secretly started his negotiations with other kings of other countries, states that time, states, okay, or other kingdoms. And when it this news reaches to the National Assembly, so in order to defend or spread that message, they declared a war against Austrian Prussia, right? Because they were in favor of the monarch Louis XVI. They planned to do help, but at the end, I told you that yes, it was there. Something goes in favor of yes, war. End of the story. War was in favor of France, and yes. With that all, but we see that it was not at all end of all the problems of the French peoples, and we yet see that it was seen a necessity by others middle class, because still in the National Assembly prosperous people were there, and there was a need, okay, which was considered by the middle class, and that was the many political clubs, okay, and in that making of many political clubs started in France, and out of that Jacobin was one of the an important one, Maximilien Robespierre. So convention comes, okay, up in the elections of 1792 conventions, and Maximilien Robespierre became the, and in that end we see the protest goes, and finally the monarch executed. So Jacobin clubs members, how was their dress, what is all, who were the members of that all, leaders, everything, and reign of terror related to the Maximilian Robespierre. Means the time period of the Maximilian Robespierre, 1793 to 94, is known as reign of terror. Okay, so reign of terror, in that we see the role of how he started to implement his policies, and severely he punished, he take many people against him to the courts and guillotines. Okay, so this was all about the Maximilian Robespierre, and then we see a directory rules comes in France, but these directives, two legislative councils were made in this systems, but these directors, finally 5 members of directory was formed, but the conflict started among these directors, and as we see that again a political instability could be seen in France, and who took the advantage of it? Yes, military head of the France that time, and his name was Napoleon Bonaparte, and later in 1804 he declared himself the crown of the France. So this was all about the story, time period, French Revolution, okay, the story related to it. And after that we discuss some of the specific what? Yes, specific topic, that role of the women's positions, their role in this revolution, right? Then abolition of slavery. We see that it was done. Abolition of slavery was only done under the rule of Jacobins, and later after 10 years, what happened? Directory rules, Napoleon Bonaparte again reintroduced, because his opinion was to spread. He was in fact a capitalist. Okay, he was in favor of the property, so he reintroduced the slavery system again in France. Then we see the impact of this. Then we discuss a topic related to the impact of this revolution on the everyday life. We discuss about the abolition of the censorship, and we see when in books, articles, magazines started to be written by many people without hesitations, and it spread many uh, many messages to the people of the France. Okay, and then we at the end of the chapter we discuss about the Napoleon Bonaparte. So that all I told you to my best. Okay, if you have any confusions, go with the lectures, listen audios again and again, and I request you, please don't don't be in doubt. Okay, because everything is cleared by me related to the chapter. So now it is your duty to make the question. So already topics are told to you: 1 mark question, 3 mark question, 5 mark questions. Okay, so in that way you have to make your practice, and at the end some of the what is that at the end, some important question in the exercise, NCRT exercise, the questions are given, so that all you also have to learn. Okay, and what about was the legacy, okay, of this French Revolution, देन में क्या मिला है? So that all I told you already in my lectures. So please, now it is your duty to do hard work and don't be in doubts. Okay, so with that all, so I sum up my words, and this is the last lectures. Now next we will start your first chapter of geography. Till then, stay healthy, stay fit. Thank you very much. Thanks.